Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 14, entitled Pregnancy of Diti in the Evening, text number 21 onwards. So Kashyap Muni is speaking to his wife, Diti. Navayam prabhavastam tvamanu kartum griheshwari apyayusha va karsanena yechanye gungridnvaha. O queen of the home, we are not able to act like you, nor could we repay you for what you have done, even if we work for our entire life or even after death. To repay you is not possible, even for those who are admirers of personal qualities. So, wow, nice flattering words by Kashyap Muni to Diti. So much glorification of a woman by her husband indicates that either he is henpecked or is talking lightly in joke. Kashyap meant that householders living with wives enjoy the heavenly blessings of sense enjoyment and at the same time have no fear of going down to hell. The man in the renounced order of life has no wife and may be driven by sex desire to seek another woman or another's wife and thus go to hell. In other words, a so-called man of the renounced order who has left his house and wife goes to hell if he again desires sexual pleasure, knowingly or unknowingly. In that way, the householders are on the side of safety. Therefore, husbands as a class cannot repay their debt to women in either in this life or in the next. So all the Prabhujis should go and show the. Maybe I should post this words on the net today. All the Matajis can show their husbands. See what Kashyap Muni is telling his wife. You don't say the same thing to us. Even if they engage themselves in repaying the women throughout their whole lives, it's still not possible. Not all husbands are as able to appreciate the good qualities of their wives. But even though one is able to appreciate these qualities, it's still not possible to repay the debt to the wife. So whatever monthly payments you guys make to your wives is just an interest on that debt. You're not paying on the original amount. Such extraordinary praises by a husband for his wife are certainly in the mode of joking. But still, it's in Bhagavatam, so we have to take it seriously. But looking at the serious side, so the wives, just like previously we read, they're the commanders of the fort of the body and senses of her husband. So she protects her husband from falling down. So this is very important statement actually. So that way one should respect one's wives. अथापि काममेतं ते प्रजात्य करवाण्यलं यथा मां नातिरोचन्ति मुहूर्तं प्रतिपालय. Even though it is not possible to repay you, I shall satisfy your sex desire immediately for the sake of begetting children. But you must wait for only a few seconds so that others may not reproach me. The henpecked husband may not be able to repay his wife for all the benefits that he derives from her. But as for begetting children by fulfilling sexual desire, it's not at all difficult for any husband unless he is thoroughly impotent. This is a very easy task for a husband under normal conditions. In spite of Kashyap's being very eager, he requested her to wait for a few seconds so that others might not reproach him. He explains his position as follows. So all he asked for, just wait for few seconds. The reason being explained now. Esha ghor tamavela ghoranam ghor darshana charanti yasyam bhutani bhuteshanu charani. This particular time is most inauspicious because at this time the horrible looking ghosts and constant companions of the Lord of the Ghosts are visible. Kashyap has already told his wife Diti to wait for a while, and now he warns her that failure to consider the particular time will result in punishment from the ghosts and evil spirits who move during this time, along with their master, Lord Rudra. So there is a particular time when Lord Rudra takes his companions, which are the ghosts and the evil spirits, and when he sees a couple um, engaged in this physical activity to have children, so he sends those spirits or ghosts in those in the womb of that woman, because otherwise these ghosts will not be able to take birth. That's his point. These kind of pregnancies at that time, when it is conceived at that time, they're not very good pregnancy. That's why Prabhupada, and the scriptures also mention, Prabhupada also stressed upon the Garbhadan Sanskar. Garbhadan Sanskar means purifying the womb so that only pure, pious, devoted souls can enter that womb. एतस्यां साध्वी संध्यायां भगवान भूत भावना परितो भूत parshadbhir vrishenatati bhutarat. Lord Shiva, the king of the ghosts, sitting on the back of his bull carrier, travels at this time accompanied by ghosts who follow him for their welfare. Lord Shiva or Rudra is the king of the ghosts. Ghostly characters worship Lord Shiva to be gradually guided towards a path of self-realization. Mayavadi philosophers are mostly worshippers of Lord Shiva, and Sripad Shankaracharya is considered to be the incarnation of Lord Shiva for preaching godlessness to the Mayavadi philosophers. Ghosts are bereft of a physical body because of their grievously sinful acts, such as suicide. The last resort of the ghostly characters in human society is to take shelter of suicide, either material or spiritual. So, one who commits suicide, he gets this ghostly body. Means he doesn't. Suppose somebody was supposed to live for 70 years and he commits suicide at 50 years. Then for next 20 years, his next body is not ready yet, so he has to live as a ghost for next 20 years. And look how Prabhupada is explaining. The last resort of the ghostly characters in human society is to take shelter of suicide, either material or spiritual. That is spiritual suicide as well. Material suicide causes loss of the physical body, and spiritual suicide causes loss of the individual identity. Mayavadi philosophers desire to lose their individuality and merge into the impersonal spiritual Brahmjyoti existence. Lord Shiva, being very kind to the ghost, sees that although they are condemned, they get physical bodies. He places them into the wombs of women who indulge in sexual intercourse, regardless of the restrictions on time and circumstance. Kashyap wanted to impress this fact upon Diti so that she might wait for a while. So even Mayavadi philosophers are considered associates or companions of Lord Shiva because they follow Shankaracharya's philosophy and they commit spiritual suicide so that their souls are stuck in the Brahmjyoti. And then there are ghostly and evil spirits who have lost the physical body. So they have the subtle body and they're going around with Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva being very merciful. Ultimately, he is a Param Vaishnava. And he volunteers to give association to these kind of people because otherwise nobody else will. That's his mercy. And then he has to give them some bodies to get into so they can continue on with a further life cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death. At least they'll have the body and they will have an opportunity to come in contact with devotees. So he places them into the wombs of women who indulge in sexual intercourse regardless of the restrictions on time and circumstance. So everything is important. It's not like Vedic scriptures; they just are superstitions, and we don't need to follow them. Vedic scriptures are basically for our benefit. It's not like Krishna is going to gain something if we follow the Vedic tenets, Vedic instructions. It's for our benefit. We gradually become purified. We gradually become elevated spiritually if we follow these instructions. Of course, it helps in proper upkeep of the society, but ultimate aim is to gradually elevate spiritually a soul which is stuck in human body or in other lower bodies. That's the whole aim of Vedas. But these days it's a fashion to disregard all the Vedic teachings. People themselves don't know the Vedic teachings, and then secondly, they make fun of and disregard all the teachings. Text 25. Shamshan Chakra Nil Dhuli Dhumra Vikirna Vidyot Jata Kalapa Bhasmava Gunta Malrukma Deho Devastribhi Pashyati Devaraste. Lord Shiva's body is reddish and he is unstained, but he is covered with ashes. His hair is dusty from the whirlwind dust of the burning crematorium. He is a younger brother of your husband. He is a younger brother of your husband, and he sees with his 3 eyes. Lord Shiva was born before Kashyapani. I don't know why he said he is a younger brother of your husband. Lord Shiva is not an ordinary living entity, but nor is he in the category of Vishnu or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is far more powerful than any living entity, up to the standard of Brahma. Yet he is not on an equal level with Vishnu. Since he is almost like Vishnu, Shiva can see past, present, and future. One of his eyes is like the sun, another is like the moon, and the third eye, which is between his eyebrows, is like fire. He can generate fire from its middle eye, and he is able to vanquish any powerful living entity, including Brahma, yet he does not live pompously in a nice house, etc. Nor does he possess any material properties, although he is a master of the material world. He is the master of the material world. His wife is Durgaji, and still he doesn't have any material properties. He lives in crematoriums. He lives mostly in the crematorium where dead bodies are burned, and the whirlwind dust of the crematorium is his bodily dress. He is unstained by material contamination. He is unstained by material contamination. Kashyap took him as his younger brother because the youngest sister of Diti was married to Lord Shiva. Okay, in that sense. So Kashyap took him as his younger brother because the youngest sister of Diti, Kashyap's wife. So they're all daughters of Daksha, and they're married to different people. So Kashyap Muni married 13 daughters of Daksha, and then one daughter of Daksha, which was Sati, was married to Lord Shiva. The husband of one's sister is considered one's brother, By that social relationship, Lord Shiva happened to be the younger brother of Kashyap. Kashyap warned his wife that because Lord Shiva could see their sex indulgence, the time was not appropriate. Diti might argue that they would enjoy sex life in a private place, but Kashyap reminded her that Lord Shiva has three eyes, called the sun, moon, and fire, and one cannot escape his vigilance any more than one can escape Vishnu. Although seen by the police, a criminal is sometimes not immediately punished. The police wait for the proper time to apprehend him. The forbidden time for sexual intercourse would be noted by Lord Shiva, and Diti would meet with proper punishment by giving birth to a child of ghostly character or a godless impersonalist. Kashyap foresaw this, and thus he warned his wife Diti. Wow. So Lord Shiva, every night or every evening, he takes all these ghostly bodies and he travels all over the universe, and then he gives these ghostly bodies a chance to take birth. And looking at the character of Lord Shiva, he is unstained by material contamination. That is the position of Lord Shiva. He's not an ordinary person. He's not living entity, and he's not Vishnu Tattva either. He's in between. That Tattva is called Shiva Tattva. And but no contamination by material modes, none. It's his. He's in charge of mode of ignorance. So as Rudra, it's his service to do the destruction. But at the same time, because more one is exalted, more one is devoted, more difficult services he would get. So Krishna asked him to serve as Shankaracharya, just to preach Mayavad philosophy. Shivji said, no, I don't want to preach this kind of philosophy. This is nonsense. But Krishna said, no, I want you to preach. So as a service to Krishna, he preached this Mayavad philosophy, which says that the supreme truth has no form. It's all Brahm Jyoti is ultimate. But even as Shankaracharya, he was a great scholar and he has written so many books and so many followers he has. Still, he has so many followers. But even as Shankaracharya, when he came, he could not control his inner feelings. So in the end, it busted out as Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam Audamate. That you Mooda, you rascals, just chant the names of Govinda. And also many other places he glorified Krishna. But his more basic philosophy was the ultimate truth is Brahm Jyoti. But then he also came as a Vaishnava Acharya. And he has his whole Sampradaya, Vaishnava Sampradaya. So he's the only one who has done, he has both Vaishnava Sampradaya and Mayavadi Sampradaya, both. It's amazing. And here he is giving his mercy on all the ghostly bodies. It's amazing. His whole personification, his whole identity, personality is very mystical, very, very mystical. Text 26. Na yasya loke swajanam barova natyadrito not kaschit vigarya vayam vratar charna pavidham ashasma he ajam bat bhukta bhogam. Lord Shiva regards no one as his relative, yet there is no one who is not connected with him. He does not regard anyone as his very favorable or abominable. We respectfully worship the remnants of his foodstuff, and we vow to accept what is rejected by him. Kashyap informed his wife that just because Lord Shiva happened to be his brother-in-law, that should not encourage her in her offense towards him. Kashyap warned her that actually Lord Shiva is not connected with anyone, nor is anyone his enemy. Since he is one of the three controllers of the universal affairs, he is equal to everyone. He is one of the three controllers. So Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh is one of the three controllers. His greatness is incomparable because he is a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is said that among all the devotees of the Personality of Godhead, Lord Shiva is the greatest. Now somebody will say, well, isn't Radharani the greatest? Isn't Arjun greater? Or isn't this or that? Everybody is a pure devotee. So in whatever regards, Lord Shiva is the greatest. In whatever regards, Radharani is the greatest. It's just different ways of looking at. Thus, the remnants of foodstuff left by him are accepted by other devotees as Mahaprasad, a great spiritual foodstuff. The remnants of foodstuff offered to Lord Krishna are called prasad. But when the same prasad is eaten by a great devotee like Lord Shiva, it's called Mahaprasad. so we can accept Lord Shiva's Mahaprasad. But first we offer it to Vishnu, Krishna, and then we offer it to Lord Shiva, and then we can accept that. There's no problem. But sometimes devotees ask this question: should we take the remnants of demigods? Like if we happen to go to some temple, Hindu temple, so should we take prasad there or not? Well, the point is, if we only honor Krishna prasad, every time, only Krishna prasad, then we don't need to honor. Well, we still pay respects to demigods prasad, but we don't need to eat. But if we sometimes, once in a while, or more than once in a while, eat outside food stuff, which is not cooked by devotees and not offered to Krishna, then it's not a bad idea to eat demigods prasad either, because we are eating karmi food anyway. So one has to be very judicious about it. That's all. But at any cost, do not disrespect demigods. They're all devotees of Krishna. Lord Shiva is so great that he does not care for the material prosperity for which everyone is so eager. Parvati, who is a powerful material nature personified, is under his full control as his wife, yet he does not use her even to build a residential house. He prefers to remain without shelter, and his great wife also agrees to live with him humbly. People in general worship Goddess Durga, the wife of Lord Shiva, for material prosperity. But Lord Shiva engages her in his service without material desire. He simply advises his great wife that of all kinds of worship, the worship of Vishnu is the highest, and greater than that is the worship of a great devotee or anything in relationship with Vishnu. So that is the position of Lord Shiva. Very, very amazing personality. And he is the greatest devotee of Krishna. But still he associates, look at his associates and look at his mode. He doesn't even care for any material, not even a material house. He doesn't even have a house. He lives under the Vatvriksha. But he's still worshipped all over the world. And people ask him for all kinds of material benefits, and he grants them material benefits. His wife grants them material benefits. But for them themselves, they don't even have a house. So anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Dandavat.
Prabhuji, in fact, thank you so much for the class today. I think I recall in one of the previous session when you enlightened us about Lord Jagannath ji, you told us that after the prasad is offered to Lord Jagannath, then it's offered to Vimla Mata, who is Parvati Ma, then it becomes Mahaprasad. So now I think we are able to relate to it, that if it is
Hmm.
offered to Lord Shiva as well, it becomes Mahaprasad.
Yep.
So, but because before that, it is only prasad, is it, Prabhu? What you have
Yeah.
said just now.
That's what Prabhupada said, yes.
I think that is the reason they first offered to Vimla Mata at Puri and then it is taken to Anand Bazar.
Yeah.
And Prabhuji, in fact, you had earlier also enlightened us about Sadashiv and Shivji. So this one, the one that we talked of just now, this is Shivji, na, not Sadashiv that you had talked of earlier, who does not come in contact with material mode.
It is Shivji, but expansion of Sadashiv. So Sadashiv expands himself and enters each universe, each and every universe, which is that expansion is called Shiv.
Amazing enlightenment today, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Ashok Prabhu, I think we lost you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, in one of the person you just mentioned today that if a person is destined to live for 70 years, but he commits a suicide at the age of 50, is it not against the karmic active karam phala that he was supposed to live for 70 years and he should have lived for 70 years, and how can he commit suicide at the age at 50 years?
Independence is still there.
Oh, he uses his independence to commit suicide.
Yeah. So that's
Okay,
why
that's
he's for 20 years his body is not ready. Next body is not ready. So he has to remain as a ghost.
okay. Okay.
That's why we when we do this Pindadan,
Mhm.
so then he basically Pindadan is what? Besides all the rituals, it's we offer Vishnu Prasad to that to the ancestors.
Mhm.
So idea is whoever is stuck, whoever hasn't gotten the new body,
Body.
he that soul comes and he accepts the Vishnu Prasad, and then he or she whatever gets a new body.
Gets the okay.
So Vishnu Prasad or Krishna Prasad is so potent, so powerful.
Powerful. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Chalo, I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
thank you,
Jai
Prabhu.